There's something happening on the January 6th front that was really interesting. Now, I've had occasion to go on MSNBC with Ari Melber, pretty cool guy. You never really see Ari kind of get exasperated with the guest, but he was talking with Peter Navarro last night, and they were talking about what happened on January 6th. And as Peter Navarro was describing what happened, he was saying it as if there was nothing wrong with the activities that were coming out of his mouth. And Ari Melber was like, no, my friend, that's called a coup. Let's take a look at this so we can see the absurdity of what Peter Navarro and the
Ted.
Let's run the clip.
And all this required was peace and calm on Capitol Hill. And at 1 p.m., Senator Ted Cruz, and Gosart, a representative, started the Green Bay sweep beautifully, challenging the results of Arizona. Here's the most important thing I can tell you about this. The thing that we were trying to deal with was a media which refused to acknowledge any kind of possible fraud or irregularities.
Yeah, you just described this plan as a way to take an election where the outcome was established by independent secretaries of state, by the voters of those states, and legal remedies have been exhausted with the Supreme Court never even taking, let alone siding with, any of the claims that you just referred to. So legally, they went nowhere. Then you will use the incumbent losing party's power, that was the Republican Party that was losing power, to overtake and reverse that outcome. Do you realize you are describing a coup?
No, I totally reject many of your premises there. First of all, the election was still in doubt and would be until it was certified. Second, the idea that secretaries of state, particularly in Michigan and Pennsylvania, were like innocent parties. I mean, Jocelyn Benson and Kathy Bookfar, the secretaries of state in Michigan and Pennsylvania, they were put in power by George Soros for the express purpose of shifting the playing field.
So he goes to George Soros, the standard. I don't even want to take that part, Brother Mac. The fact that they could get on national television and with a straight face say, we want to institute a coup. They get called on it, say, brother, this is a coup. And then he said, I reject that premise. That's some caucasity right there.
No, Ben. That is what they do. See, this is the reason why when you take a look at American history, see, this is what he is setting the place for. And this is the most dangerous word that one could encounter. It's called a revisionist. He's just simply sitting there, and he is in his quintessential format becoming a revisionist. And a revisionist will tell you, you can sit there and watch history, and a revisionist will explain it to you like what you saw really isn't what you saw.
That's right.
This is what really happened. So in this case, and you got to understand, Ben, that when we're talking about today's Republican Party, because yesterday's Republican Party was a good party. You know, we need to remember yesterday's Republican Party was the party of the abolitionists. Those were folks who led us, you know, who helped fight to end slavery. But today's Republican Party, totally different beast. And so when you take a look at history, the way it is today, absent of what is going on, you know, absent of our contributions, these were revisionists who wrote this history. So here, what the Republican Party is just absolutely staring right in their face is that they were the party who tried to tackle and destroy American democracy. You put an assault on American democracy. They do not want that as their history. So I want you to remember this. There's an ideology called the lost cause, where the veterans of the Civil War, the Southern Confederate veterans, got together to revise history. And they wanted to paint history as, number one, we didn't start the Civil War. It wasn't fought over slavery. And that ideology is what permeated through all of our history books. And they were extremely effective with that. So trust and believe that if we don't keep it up, Ben, if you don't talk about what happened on January 6th, so that we all are very clear about it, trust and believe Soros sitting there with all of his rambling would be very convincing to those who ignore what really happened on January 6th. So, Ben, what I would like for you to do, for all of us, is to paint the picture of exactly what was Soros saying and exactly what happened on January 6th.
No, Navarro, what Navarro was saying, and he dropped, and Navarro dropped.
Soros, my bad, Navarro.
Yeah, no, but that's and that's exactly right. That in terms of the BS, because what actually happened on January 9th, I changed it from the 6th to the 9th. What happened on January 6th was a coup. Yes. It was the first step in a long coup. That was a dry run. It was a test run. It was a stress test of the system. Everyone knows the first time around is a test run, and they are not done yet. And what they've done really effectively, and what Peter Navarro is just kind of brushing by. There's a second clip I want us to play here. He's just brushing by the fact that they have done this at every level of our government. They've worked through the judiciary. They've worked and they purchased Congress people, and they've gotten the presidency. That's nothing to them. And now they are all out in the streets having a revolution in a system that they own. I want y'all to check this out now. The barbarians at the gate, they're the barbarians at the gate of their own empire. Right. This is a white supremacist backed country, and you got white supremacists storming. That is a technique of fascism 101. They are keeping us in a perpetual state of constant revolution from their perspective, Brother Matt.
And so, Ben, what I want people to understand is this. See, Navarro said, and again, forgive me for calling him Soros. My mind is weak this morning. But what Navarro said, he said, the election was still very much in doubt. I want you to pay attention to that. He said it was very much in doubt. No, Ben, we talking January 6th. So, Ben, in the steps in this election, what was Congress there to do on January 6th?
They were there to confirm the election. They were there
to confirm. So basically, fam, what happens is the election results have come in from all across the nation. So when you hearing the host saying that the election results have been certified by these independent states, he's saying that the election results have come in from all over the place.
That's right.
And now this electoral college, which some people are getting confused about or maybe not sure about, but anyway, now that you come to Congress, the members of Congress are to push their electoral votes in on January 6th. Right, Ben?
Right.
And now what is supposed to happen? Now they are supposed to say, the state of Iowa has certified the election results. The state of Mississippi has certified the election results. State of California, all the states recognize that they have certified the election results. There was no doubt about the outcome of the election. But now, because negative 45 was still claiming foul for no other reason than he lost, now they decided we are not going to accept the votes of the American people. Damn the votes of the American people.
Yes,
we are going to go over there and we're gonna take the government, we're gonna take power. Now, if that sounds reckless, I didn't do it. I'm just telling you that's what happened.
That's it. Let's take a listen to this next clip. And Ari Melber is asking Peter Navarro why he thinks Vice President Mike Pence wouldn't listen to him. And he's going to, well, it gets interesting. Let's run the clip.
Didn't he listen to you?
Well, I talk about it in the In Trump Time book. His chief of staff, Mark Short, who is a Koch network conservative, meaning that he's a never Trumper, basically walled off Vice President Pence from the day Mark took chief of staff's duties back in 2018. And it was a sad story. Mike was always good to me until that day. The thing about Mike's betrayal of President Trump, which is really interesting, is he never shared the legal analysis of his general counsel, Greg Jape, and Mark Short.
And this may be relevant, sir, in future elections, which is, don't you think somebody would have thought of this if the incumbent administration, through the president or the vice president, could just cancel the election outcome because he goes down to the Senate? Well, then a lot of people would try to stay in power. We have an entire system designed to thwart, and I want to say this respectfully, but it's the truth, people like you, to stop people like you who think that you can anoint yourself the reviewers of the voters, of the American people, of what they lawfully did, that you trumped the Supreme Court, no pun intended. People like you are what the Constitution are designed to stop, and it worked, and it did stop you.
All right, Ari.
Yeah.
Way to allyship that one, man. Because
Yeah.
he said it's to stop people like you, Peter Navarro.
Oh,
Come on, brother Mac.
player, I'm gonna tell you something. You know, I can't say that I listen to Ari a lot, right? I don't watch much, but I'm gonna tell you something. I love the fact that he just put that right out there. He was like, player, we talking about this is what the system was designed to do, to
That's
stop a fool like you.
Yes, sir.
See,
Yes, sir.
And then think about what Navarro said. Navarro, because words so matter. Navarro said Pence's betrayal of Trump. No, for once in his miserable life,
That's right.
Pence saw something greater than Trump. He saw the ideology of American democracy. That is what Pence did.
Yeah.
It was not a betrayal of Trump. It was to adhere to the will of the American people. And
You know,
Ari said, this system stopped a traitor like you, Navarro. That's exactly what I'm gonna tell you something. That piece from Ari, if you ever talk to him, Ben, tell him.
Oh, I'm gonna let him know. I'm gonna hit him up.
A1, baby. In the world of sitting there and not fooling around, he threw no punches right there.
That's right. And it's what you call, brother Matt, courageous conversation.
Yes, sir.
And he asked he was like, with all due respect, people like you. All right, Ari, I felt that one, man.
Oh,
listen. It really, speaking truth to power, it happens on occasion. It doesn't happen a lot on these networks, but that was one of those moments. And one of the things that happened, Navarro really revealed, and we're going to take a break here. But one thing that I want to see if you picked up on, brother Mac, was the civil war that's happening in the Republican Party that Navarro just pointed out. He said that there's the Koch brother faction. That's the faction that walled off Vice President Pence, meaning that Vice President Pence knew that when this all was over, he could fall back on the Koch brother network. And then you have the new Trump faction that's taking over the party. And Peter Navarro has chosen the side of Trump. And so really interesting, the civil war going on there.
And just remember, Ben, you know, Trump is in love with the ideology of what President Xi over in China is doing, right? So Xi done set it up where he's president for life. Trust and believe, China, you know, Trump wants that. He wanted that very same system. And you got white boys in power, just like this cat Navarro. And when you look at, you know, Ben, I'll tell you another thing. If you play the clip again, look at Navarro's face. You can look at his face and see, okay, I have practiced this line of BS. I just want to be sure. Look at his face. That is not the face of a convicted man in his principles and belief. This is a snake oil salesman at best. And I will say this to you, that if you don't pay attention to what's going on, I just tried to imagine, not that I did not know what was happening on January 6th. Navarro, with all of his words, sounds very, very convincing. But you look at his face. Look at that face and tell me that when a dude is slapping you side the head like Ari is slapping him, he's saying, look, I know I'm trying to sell you a lot of BS.
You see, this is why I don't come on this show. This is why I don't go on MSNBC in the first place. He's regretting it right now. Oh man, Peter Navarro was not expecting that from Ari. And this is listen. The truth is like when you catch the rabbit, you better know what to do with it. And a lot of times, like as journalists, you get people in your presence, and some people won't ask the real questions, or some people won't draw the real conclusions.
Absolutely.
More than anything else, people will avoid that conclusion.
And that is the thing that frustrates me the most about watching shows like that, is when you won't come hard, and if a person, you got them on the hook. Now press the issue.
That's right.
And at that point, that was one of the most beautiful points of journalism that I ever saw. When Ari says to him, the system worked. It was designed to stop people just like you. Now, in the world of democracy and white power, for you to tell a white powerful man that the system was designed, this American democratic system that has worked beautifully in its transfer of power was designed to stop shit like what you was trying to do. And that white man just sits there and looks at it, Ben,
and can't do nothing about it because it's the truth.
But when he sits there, when you hit somebody with that, I mean, back in the day, somebody would have said, "How dare you insult me? I challenge you to a duel." And you go outside and duel.
He ain't saying nothing right there, Brother Mac. We're gonna hold it there. Let's hold it there for a second. We're gonna cut over to a break. DJ Exclusive is in the house. When we come back with more,